baseball is rolling on, right? Manfred and Harper, like, let's get into that action, dude. That was a crazy post, a crazy headline for today. I have to get your spin on it. He pretty much kicked Manfred out of the clubhouse regarding whether or not there should be a salary cap of any kind for the players. And what are your thoughts on that? And any defense either way?
Yeah, well, Bryce has always been one of those guys. You know what I mean? I mean, he's at the front of everything for the Players Association and just kind of being the punky QB of the group. You know what I mean? He reminds me a lot of like a Jim McMahon of the Chicago Bears, who's going to be at a convention in Chicago this weekend. But you know, I think the thing with Bryce,
humble plug.
Humble plug. Maybe we'll see him. Maybe we won't. Who knows? Yeah. But you know, I think for me, it's really interesting to see Bryce kind of go up to bat for everybody throughout the organization. But I also have some like pullback also, like on Manfred's side. Like, you know, I'd love to sit here and be like, Harper's in the right. Like, yeah, like I'm into it. But like, also, I think we have to understand like what we're arguing about. You know, I do agree that there shouldn't be a salary cap in baseball, but there should be a salary floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
If Bryce Harper played for the Pirates or the A's, he wouldn't care about the salary cap because his team's never going to make it there. You know what I mean? Me as a Cub fan, it's like, well, we're kind of always like in that middle ground territory. We're spending, but we're not spending a lot of money. You know what I mean? So like, I think it's interesting, man. I did see DeRosa said something interesting. I don't know if it was on Foul Territory or somewhere else. He kind of said, like, just to paraphrase, he was like, dude, you don't know how powerful a commissioner can be. Like, you don't want to do stuff like that. That'll mess up the mojo of the team. Hey, man, they say the Phillies just traded for Paul Skeens. No, you didn't. Rob Manfred said that's not going through. You know, like the Chris Paul to LA deal. Like, that's like real things that can happen. So there are consequences to your actions, man. And, you know, you do got to be held accountable and you do kind of burn those bridges. I don't know if that bridge is burnt because we weren't in the rooms. There's no videos of it surfacing at the moment. But it's interesting, man. What do you think? It's because you're in Philly, man. You know the type of guy Harper is. He's been a huge dude in the community. He's embraced Philly the right way. This was a very Philly statement. I know, you know, Chaz Franklin, Kalia Copper, so many people from Philly. This was very Philly of him to do that. So how do you think the city of Philly will embrace what Harper just did?
I'm cracking up because I just got my Mets wings back. You know, I got my credentials back. Sure. The Met organization is full on Mike Powers again. I'm going to tell you right now, man, it's very, very hard to hate Bryce Harper and the majority of these Philly players because they speak their minds. I mean, this is something Harper got paid, not as much as Soto, and he should have, and he deserves that. Like, but this sounds like we're going towards another strike. This sounds like there's very passionate sides on both sides. The fact that Manfred wants to talk about this, mind you, the commissioner is the voice of the owners, right? So for him to go directly to a player is insane. And especially for the player to have that reaction is like, that should have been a meeting. Like, hey, like a team's meeting. Like, hey, I want to talk about this. Do you want to talk about this? Like, it shouldn't have been in a clubhouse in a setting where it's not, hey, this is what's going to be on the agenda and this is what we're going to talk about. And in Manfred's defense, if that was why he was coming in the clubhouse to talk to him, then Bryce went a little bit overboard. But I love this because even top tier teams, when they win, they go on cruise control. Like, you could argue from 2009 to now, the Yankees were kind of on cruise control in some of those years. Granted, they still had a productive team that made it to the postseason. They weren't going for the jugular. They were not going for the throats. You see a lot of teams take a step back after they win. You know, I don't think the Dodgers are that team, obviously. I don't think there's a bunch of teams like that, but there becomes a situation where you could win too much and not make any more money. Right? We just saw the Phillies and Yankees perform this weekend, and it wasn't a sold out crowd. I'd be willing to take the attendance numbers and compare it to what just happened with Banana Ball in Philadelphia and see where the numbers were. And there was an extra game for the Yankees Phillies.